The High Court in Pretoria has adjourned to discuss matters in the chambers. These are issues relating to a reported second docket in the trial of the 5 men accused of murdering soccer star Senzo Meyiwa at the Gauteng High Court in Pretoria. Chriselda Lewis is our reporter that's on standby to speak to us on that. Chriselda, quite a frustrated Judge Murder there, speaking about the importance of time, just berating how he feels now the time has been dedicated to what he named sideshows. What is your assessment of what has been happening thus far? And this issue of the second docket has been a very thorny issue in this particular case.
Certainly, Mkolisi seeming very frustrated by how this particular trial is resuming here this morning. Of course, you would recall that yesterday this special entry application was brought by Advocate Zandile Mshololo, who represents accused number 5. Essentially, in that special entry, she says she wants this court to take into account the fact that she believes her client, Fiso Ntuli, was prejudiced and that his constitutional rights had been violated, and he was not given the opportunity of a fair trial on the basis of what she says is the state's late handing over of docket 375 and the contents contained inside it. So this morning, Advocate George Baloy, who is the state prosecutor, was up next. Essentially, he was arguing, saying that, or referring to several correspondence in which he says the premise on which Advocate Zandile Mshololo bases this application on is not true. Him pointing to several correspondence in which he's trying to point out that there had been correspondence in which this controversial docket 375 had been mentioned, and that it's simply not true, that they don't know that it existed. So what we're seeing now is Judge Chifua Maumela indicating that he's concerned that the time that has been allocated for this trial is not being used in the right way. He's concerned that there are too many sideshows in this particular matter. He apologized for interjecting or making these statements while Advocate George Baloy, the state prosecutor, was of course making his argument. What he's concerned about is that we're not actually getting to the actual issues of what happened on that day that Senzo Meyiwa was killed. Recall yesterday, the state's first witness, the forensic detective, Thabo Mosia, was scheduled to be cross-examined by Advocate Zandile Mshololo. That was pushed to today, and we're already now into 10 past 11. And whether we will even get to the cross-examination of the forensic detective, Thabo Mosia, that certainly remains to be seen. So what Judge Maumela requested was that all the legal representatives then join him in his chambers and they decide on a way forward on how this trial is going to proceed, because he's concerned that there are too many sideshows in this particular matter and that we actually need to get to the actual trial itself, and the cross-examination of the forensic detective Thabo Mosia needs to get underway. So certainly some concern pertaining to how time is being used in this matter. And I think that's essentially what many people have been raising, is that with all the sideshows that we have seen take place, remember, every time that we've come to court, there has been a move to the other side, if I can. We've had multiple delays in this particular trial. We've seen Advocate Malisa Latifo, who was initially representing accused number 1 to 4, recuse himself from this matter. He's left this trial. We had then the instructing attorney, Timothy Tobane, take over this matter. So there have been quite a number of issues, or sideshows, if I may, that have taken over this case, and it seems like the judge is quite frustrated now in that we're not dealing with the actual issue of what happened on the day that Senzo Meyiwa was killed. We're far from, at this particular point, we haven't even gotten past the first witness in this matter. Advocate Zandile Mshololo was yet to continue her cross-examination of Thabo Mosia. So him quite concerned about how this trial is proceeding at the stage.